Hello, and welcome to this small tutorial / behind the scenes of how I make ARMA3 cinematics. Making machinima is an art. It takes skill, time, and patience. But if you put those three things to good use, you'll be able to create machinimas like you never thought possible. I'm Alex Phillips, and welcome to behind the scenes of ARMA3 cinematics. Before starting, it's important to know what you want to achieve. Do a rough storyboard on a piece of paper, draw out what you want, find your passion, discover what it is you want to film. For me, I will be demonstrating with a battalion of tanks. There's a lot of things that go into making a machinima, especially when using a strange AI feature. ARMA3 is notorious for having AI that enjoys doing its own thing. However, there are ways you can work around this. Using a waypoint finder is one of the easiest ways to make AI do what you want. Right here, I've told the tanks to move in one straight line to the other side of the map. At the beginning, they'll start to do their own thing, but once the AI starts to discover what it is that you want it to do, it will comply with that order. This takes a lot of trial and error. Here I am putting all my tanks to go move to the same location. I'm also telling them to move slowly and to move in a staggered column formation. I placed one character down to watch to see if the AI were complying with what I asked them to do. Score, it works. Now I can enter Gcam. Gcam is an add-on feature which is basically a cinematic camera which allows you to follow vehicles, platoons and other movable things. Here I'm getting the shots I want, using the scroll wheel, keyboard and mouse to move around. The same thing can be done with moving little platoons. Here we're going to try something a little bit more complicated. To make the world feel alive, you have to add more than one script. Here we're going to add a battalion of troops moving forward along a road. We're also going to put vehicles moving along the road to make sure it looks like the world is alive. By placing other moving objects around the world, it will make the entire film feel more alive and much more fluid. Here I'm going to put two vehicles down to go past the troops on the road to make the world seem bigger than it actually is. This is a simple technique used by machinimas. On one side of the film there will be absolutely nothing happening, but on the other side a lot will be happening. For example, in here the left side of the shot will be the primary area. Here I'm telling the vehicles to move in a column and also to move slowly so they don't run over the troops and they also don't fly past the camera. I'm also telling the troops to move along the road in the same direction, moving slowly, walking in a safe environment. It is important to make sure they are walking in the environment they are set in. If you set their environment to default, they'll be walking in combat moves. But here, set it safe, they will walk with weapons lowered and in a very nice way. The animation works. Score. It's time to jump into Gcam. Start positioning the camera to how I want it. By pressing L, I can also access the quick menu. I can select which unit I want to film, and I can also set the time. Here I've set the duration time to 0.1. This is very useful for making slow motion shots. When done correctly, you can achieve some incredible things. We're now going to try something a little bit more complicated. The base game features an animation feature in the toolbar. However, I use mods to get better animations from previous games and modders. Here I've placed 2 units down looking at each other in the default stances. If I do nothing, they will stay in their fighting position. By right clicking and clicking their attributes, you can go down to the Eden Enhanced mod. Here there is an entire animation bar, and you can select some basic animations. For these 2, I would like one to be talking and one to be listening. The other, I will just select listen. When you start the game now, these 2 will begin their animations and it will run on loop. Here I've placed a unit down somewhere out of the way where I can just quickly access the game. It is also important to build your own sets. Here you can see I've placed fighter jets down, AI doing maintenance, lights, radar, buildings, everything else. And here the 2 soldiers we placed down earlier are now doing their animation loops. Here I've entered Gcam again to get the shots I want. Once you are satisfied with the shots you have, you can then drop all of them into Premiere Pro or your editing software. Here I'm going to put all the shots I want. I'm cutting out the bits where I'm moving the camera to re-aim my shots. I added an adjustment layer and cropped it to roughly 12 on the top and 12 on the bottom. This gives it an extra cinematic feel. I then also coloured the footage to how I see fit. For me, I really wanted my tanks to be in a warm environment, something like a sunset. Here I'm trying something very clever. I've completely taken the colour out and enhanced the black and white to make it look like a thermal camera. I'm also adding 2 transparent pictures of crosshairs to make it look like a targeting camera. After that I can think about doing the next piece. Doing the exact same thing by making cinematic bars, colouring and cutting the footage to how I want it. After that we can then start to think about sound. I added music tracks to each, cut the footage to the music, and then added some background noise such as radios. The result is this.
Guns. Falcon 5-1 is Winchester ammo. Stalker, this is Falcon 5-1, egressing southwest, awaiting ETA. Falcon copy, ETA 100 over 100, enemy armor column success. Foxtrot out. This is Falcon 5-1, flight 2A10, 45 solid copy on all, we are on speed out. Dash 2, wing level, never going. Vulcan, this is Viper 6-1, check in. Flight 212 is Cobra, time on station. 25 Mike, holding at Angels 2, northwest. Holding area Irene, on with 8 Hellfire, sport those, 1800 rounds between us. Ready for your work.
So that's how it's done. I hope you have found this useful. I also hope some of you have been inspired to start making your own machinimas, and I hope you're all keen to start doing it soon. Like I said earlier, machinima is an art. It takes skill, time, and practice. After a while, you will start having your own films that you can be proud of. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.